Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 11 of the End Zone Boys. I am Ben, joined here by Donnie.
Yep.
Let's jump right into it. So, a
Yep.
lot of things have happened since our last episode, a lot of NBA stuff, a lot of NBA things in the coming days. So, we'll get to all of that. Play a little bit of game at the end.
Yep.
Welcome, Donnie.
Welcome. It's good to be back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
A lot of
Let's
stuff
jump,
has happened, so yeah, let's
yeah,
jump into it.
let's jump in right into it. So, the Thunder yesterday or the day before, won the NBA championship, defeating the Pacers in 7 games. What were
Yep.
your thoughts on this, Don?
Um, I think the biggest factor or like the reason why the Thunder won this was game four, in my opinion, because I remember I watched the whole game live. And the Pacers had full control of the game four until they choked at like a 10-point lead with 3 minutes left. And I honestly think that's what basically dictated the finals because I knew that game five they would lose and lose momentum. I was honestly shocked they won game six, but I just think that it's the Pacers' fault for losing the whole finals.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, but at the end of the day, like, it's all a big what if with Tyrese Halliburton's injury. Like, game five, he gets injured. He clearly is not himself, and the Thunder win that game. Like,
Yeah,
if he doesn't get injured in game five, like, who knows what would happen in game five? If they win that in game six, they win it all. And then, like, obviously, in game seven with the Achilles tear, going down there sucks.
well,
And who
but
knows what happened in game seven?
I know, but the thing is, like, the Pacers would not be in the situation where they were in Game Seven. Tyrese wouldn't be in that situation if they just never choked to Game Four, in my opinion, because they would have had a 3-1 lead, which obviously is a huge deficit to come by, unless you're LeBron.
Yeah, you can kind of see that game four and five. Like game four, obviously they had that in their grasp and they definitely could have won that. And then game five, like Tyrese Halliburton had that injury game from game five and six, and
Yeah,
then yeah, finally in game seven. Like, if that doesn't happen, then you're looking at the series completely differently. Who knows what would happen in game six?
yeah,
But if game five and seven, I believe would have definitely been more competitive.
yeah. But I mean, I wasn't really shocked by Game Five though, because the Pacers were on the road, and then the Thunder just stole their momentum, so I wasn't really shocked at the loss there.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And it's not even like Tyrese Halliburton was playing the best he had in this series. Pascal Siakam really stepped up. In even
Yeah,
game five and game seven, he really played solid. And I thought the team really rallied well. Although, like, it's so hard when you're playing, Ben Shepherd and Andrew Nemhard and Aaron Nesmith.
yeah.
Like, all these guys don't have their best games, and you're forcing a lot of minutes on them. Like, you're realistically not beating this Thunder team that's basically flawless in every facet of the game.
Yeah. And I mean, also just going back to my point again with the game four thing, if they just never lost that game, maybe Tyrese wouldn't be in the situation where he tears his ACL, and then now he's possibly missing the rest of the 2025-2026 season, which is obviously the major outcome of them losing game four, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I see that. I mean, it really comes down to Tyrese's injury, and it comes down to the choking. Although you can say the same thing with Game One. Like the Thunder should have won Game
Yeah,
One if not for Tyrese. So it's a big, what if with a lot of the games could have gone either way.
yeah,
It just so happened that Cyrus Halliburton tears his Achilles Game Seven, and from that point on, it's really hard to win a basketball game when your stars.
yeah.
Moving on to some of the trades that happened in the last few days, we'll begin with Desmond Bane going to
hmm
the Magic, Contavious Caldwell Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 first rounders, and then another swap going back to the Grizzlies. What were your opinions on this one, Donnie?
I think I mean, at face value, this is a good trade for the Orlando Magic, except the only issue is the draft picks they had to give up. I do think they overpaid with the draft picks because, I mean, they give up like what, 4 first round picks, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is a little bit an overpay. I mean, I've seen Desmond Bane as a solid player, but I don't know if he's worth 4 first round picks. And I mean, I'm like Contavious and Cole Anthony are just there in my opinion, but I think the biggest value they lost was the 1st round picks.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Although I think I'm going to be in the minority when I say I really like what the Magic did in this trade. Like, I think that number one, I think Desmond Bane's an incredibly underrated player. I
Yeah,
think
no, I
he's
agree.
a great 3-point shooter. He's averaged 39% from three in his entire career, including like his first 2 years in the league. I mean, he's
Yeah.
just a consistent shooter. He's exactly what the Magic needed. And I understand the draft capital, but if you look at the draft picks, other than the Phoenix Suns 2027 first, like, are you really upset giving a mid first round pick in this draft a 2028 and 2030 first from yourself, which realistically you're expecting to be competitive with this team now, and then a 2029 swap, like you're expecting those picks to be late or not used fully. Like that 2027 seventh pick is really good. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah,
sugarcoat that. But I do think I'd rather have Desmond Bane than the package they gave. With that being said, I also do think the Magic are kind of just like really tied up. They can't really make any more moves. They're really just buying
yeah,
into that big three or four with Paolo, Franz, Bane, and Suggs, which I think really is good in both offensive and defensively. And the East is now obviously wide open next year. So I
yeah.
like it for the Magic in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and then also we keep talking about the Magic, but also going to the Grizzlies part of it. I think this is honestly a very good trade for them, in my opinion, because ever since 2022, the Grizzlies haven't been at that position where they've been like contending. Like people are thinking they're going to contend for the finals, and I mean this year also they're just struggling, especially with John Morant's like recent injuries and him being not active. So I honestly just think this is a good trade for them, and I think they're not rebuilding, but I think they're definitely thinking about like looking more into the future.
Yeah, and I think going back to what you said about 2022, like they were seen as like one of the big new teams, like the young
Yeah,
teams, and going to have a big future. They just never really panned out, and I do think it's smart to click the reset, not really go into a full rebuild,
yeah,
but retool in a way, get those draft picks back, and build a young roster that can contend in the future. Because
yeah. I mean,
Desmond Bane
yeah,
is locked up for a while.
and they still have two of good players too. They have like Aldama, they have Scottie Pippen Jr. So they still have good players, but I do think that the first round picks they're getting is gonna definitely help them a lot.
For sure. And I mean, they definitely had issues. They weren't a perfect team. They were realistically never going to compete for the finals
Yeah,
with the team that they had. At this point, though, now you have Jaren Jackson tied up with a lot of money over a long
yeah,
period of time. You're tied up with Ja for a long period of time. Like, you kind of just have to win through the margins at this point, unless you're willing to move either Ja or Triple J.
hmm
Also, I just do think that their bench needed more in those first round picks because I mean, you don't really want G.G. Jackson right now to, be your sixth man, or you don't really want Vince Williams Jr. or
yeah.
Brandon Clark or any of these guys to really get a
I
ton of
mean, I
use.
like I like Gigi Jackson, but yeah,
He just
he's
took a
not the
step back last year, and that kind of just
yeah
worries me.
he's not the guy at the moment right now.
Exactly, exactly. Moving on to the second trade we saw a few days ago, that would be Kevin Durant to the Rockets as our Suns fan. I would love to
Yeah.
hear what you have to say about this one.
I, a lot of people have been, I mean, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews. I was watching a lot of videos. Some people love this trade for the Suns. Some people hate it. I like this trade for the Suns, in my opinion. I mean, despite the fact we got like, I don't know, we have like four shooting guards right now. I think this is good, especially considering that KD's getting older. He's 36 or 30. He's about to be 37,
Yep.
and then he has an expiring contract, which is going to put us in like more debt. Basically, I think this is a good trade for the Suns to do.
What was your opinion on Jalen Green? Like, obviously, you might reroute him, or he might stay on the Phoenix Suns. But what was your opinion on him being, the main front runner of this trade?
I don't see. The issue is I like his age because he's young. Pause. But um, I don't like the fact that we have four shooting guards right now.
Hmm.
And especially since we have Bradley Beal, who's definitely not going to waive his no trade clause. I do think the best possible option for us, if we can't find him to like find a way to put him in our scheme, is to reroute him, which I completely agree. Dylan Brooks, I think we'll keep him though. He's going to be a good asset. And then yeah, first round pick super valuable this year because we're gonna have two first round picks this year. And other than that, we're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of second your opinion on this trade. I do like it for both sides. Honestly, similar to the Desmond Bane trade for the Rockets. Like, your window is kind of now. Like before, everyone needs money. Amen,
Yeah,
Jabari,
thank
Sengun,
you.
like all these
Hmm.
guys need big time extensions. Like, you kind of want to win right now, especially with the East being as weak as it is. Like, getting to the NBA Finals is hard, but like if you get there, you feel really good about yourself. And then for the Suns, like I like the package they got back. I do think they should have asked for, their own pick in
Yeah,
2027 back
that's what I was gonna say.
or Jabari Smith, one or the other. Maybe they did and the Rockets said no, but including that, even if you have to give back some piece, like I feel like I would have liked that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen other proposed trades. Like, I don't know if you I saw the Timberwolves propose where they're going to give Rudy, Dante,
Yeah.
Rob, and the 17th pick. And I think that this value that we're getting is definitely a lot better.
You like I would have to disagree with you on that. I think
Really?
I would like to say both Rudy Gobert and Bradley Beal are overhated, and I actually believe that they would be are solid fits on the team
Well,
now.
no, okay,
Starting starting
I
with
don't
Rudy.
hate I don't hate Rudy Gobert. I just think I just don't want him at the moment.
That's fair, but at this point, like you're right now, you're starting Nick Richards at your center.
Nick Richards is good. Ask Essie.
Rudy
He'll say
Rudy
he's
Gobert
good.
is a top three rim protector in the league. Um, I understand that people hate on him a lot, and I do think some of that's fair. But with that being said, he's a super valuable person, and I think he's kind of perfect for the Suns.
Yeah,
I do agree with that. You know, the other parts, like you don't need Dante on this team, you don't really need
yeah.
Rob on this team.
And then with
The
the
17th
17th
pick
pick,
isn't as good as
yeah,
the 10th pick, but
yeah.
it kind of just depends what you reroute Jalen Green for if you do want to reroute him. And then going back to Bradley Beal, like I understand his contract and that sucks, but like without KD, he's just not a or with KD, he's just not a good fit on the team as a number three scorer.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of why I think rewriting Jalen Green's the best for role players. Like when Bradley Beal's the number two option, and we saw this on the Wizards, we saw this earlier in his career. Like he's a
Hmm.
really good player. Like that's the reason he got extended for all that money. And even
Yeah.
if he doesn't waive his no trade clause, I still think this Suns team can be better than it was last year.
Yeah. I mean that's what I do think that we should focus on prioritizing Bradley Beal, of course, because he's gonna eating up everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think his numbers are going to go up. He's going to look better as
Yeah.
a number two option instead of number three.
Yeah.
Next up on our list, we had one second. We had the switch today between the
Oh boy.
Wizards and the Pelicans. You know, as a Wizards fan, it really hurts to see Jordan Poole go. Like his first year was a really bad, and I was really confused why he was on the team. And then last year he looked really good.
Yeah.
And I'm just confused where we get a value out of this. We got Kelly Olynyk and CJ McCollum for Poole, and Sadiq Bey. Like
Yeah.
Olynyk and Bey can just be a wash. They're both not great contracts, and Olynyk's an expiring deal and McCollum an expiring deal. So I do understand why we did this. Like now we have $86 million in cap space next off. Like that's incredible. Like we
Yeah.
can go out and we can like make our moves, and we're gonna be really um, much better and much improved in 2027. But with that being said, like why can't we get a first round pick for Jordan Poole? Why can't we get Jordan Hawkins or someone of more value than like a Kelly Olynyk or a CJ McCollum who we might just reroute?
Yeah.
I didn't
Well,
know
I
what you.
think the issue that people also do see is I think the Pelicans are viewing Poole as more of like a role player to Zion. And I mean, well,
Kramer.
yeah, then
Yeah.
yeah, and trade. Well, yeah, because they're not going to get Dejounte next. I mean, yeah, he's also going to replace Dejounte Murray for one next year. But I do see them as a role player because we've seen, I mean, last year and the year before when Jordan Poole has tried to be like the lead scorer, and he's been like he hasn't been consistent enough to a point where you could say, oh yeah, he's like the face of Washington, like consistently. So I do think, I mean, the Pelicans, I do think it's a good pickup for them, but I just think it's a stupid move for like the Wizards, honestly. You're just getting Jordan Poole, who's like 10 years older, basically.
Yeah, the thing is like McCollum's a great veteran. He's going to be able to
Yeah,
mentor if we bring in Trey Johnson or like a really good shooter. We bring in or we already have Bub Carrington, Keyshawn George, like all these really AJ Johnson, like these really good and upcoming guards. Um, and I was talking about the cap space, like Marcus Smart's an expiring deal, Chris Middleton's an expiring deal, CJ
yeah,
McCollum is an expiring deal, Kelly Olynyk's an expiring deal. Like that's 90 million of dollars that are just off the books next year. Like
yeah,
that's more than half the money, more than that, that we're spending. And Poole is like a 3 year deal with the same annual value as McCollum. Like I'm I'm side kind of mad with the return, but with that being said, like the money we're gonna have to spend next off season is gonna be really good.
yeah, I agree.
The next one we had both today, after that Poole trade, was Kristaps Porzingis to the Hawks. The Celtics got Jordan Niang in a second, and the Nets are taking on Terrence Mann's contract, while also getting pick number 19 in this year's draft.
Yeah. I mean, my first thoughts, I don't really understand it besides the Celtics freeing up cap space or just like they're trying to get rid of contracts, obviously, but I don't understand why they needed to do this or why they would want to do this besides like contracts.
I agree. Like Jordan Niang, like that's just money. Like
Yeah.
he'll be like the ninth man on the team realistically. Like who really cares about that? You have
Yeah.
Al Horford as your starting center now. You don't
No,
feel
but Al
amazing about
Horford's like,
that.
yeah, it's like he's really washed at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really trust him to be your starting center. I'm sure they'll go out and get someone, whether that's an Isaiah Jackson, Clint
Yeah.
Capella, like someone of that
Or maybe
level. Like, sure,
Maybe
you're,
Miles Turner. You never know.
no, but, um, but I do think, I don't hate it for the Celtics. For the Nets, like I love this. Like you're taking on a some money on Terrence Mann, who has like a 3 year, $43 million deal. Not great, but you get
Yeah.
another first. Like you have five firsts in this draft, which is stupid good. And
Yeah.
then finally for the Hawks, like I like it. I also think it hurts Onyeka Okongwu. Like I just think he was ready to step into that full time starting role as a center, and I just think even though Porzingis is probably a 1 year rental, like I kind of just like thought that he would have a breakout season as their
Yeah,
starter.
that's what I just feel bad for Porzingis because he's just been like he's been passed around, and I feel like he hasn't had like a real place to like settle down.
Yeah, and he's a good player. Like
He is
I
a good
get that he
player.
played bad in the postseason, and that's probably the main reason why they're moving on
Yeah.
from him. But like, I don't think he's going to be any better on the Hawks. And I don't think the Hawks are in any better of a team now. Like
Yeah.
you think about their lineup that they could roll. Like sure, I guess you could start Porzingis or Onyeka at the four, but realistically, you're starting Trey Young, Dyson Daniels, Reece Shea, Jalen Johnson, and then Porzingis likely. Like,
Yeah.
and then off the bench, like I guess who do you have now? Um, Whoever you draft at 10, or not, or 14, 13. I don't
Yeah.
know. They
I
have
think it's
some first round picks.
yeah.
Then, um, Onyeka, and then a couple other guys. Like, I just think that you'd be better off keeping the depth, instead of trading for a 1 year rental.
Yep. I agree.
Next up, we got, the NBA draft is tomorrow. Thought it would be
Yep.
interesting if we just, went over some of our guys, some of the guys that we really like, some of the guys we don't like, some of the fits, and whatnot. So, do we want to start at the top? I mean, obviously the first two picks are kind of, we
Yeah,
know those.
they're
So
on
at number
lock.
three with the 76ers, what's your kind of your take around that? Who should they take?
See, I've been seeing a lot of posts, and I think the 76ers might actually trade down because I've been seeing a lot of people been wanting to trade up for the third overall pick. But if the 76ers were to keep it, they'd probably go with like a VJ Edgecombe type of guy. That's what
Yeah, I
I'm.
agree. I think if they stay, they should just take VJ Edgecombe. I think he fits the best. He's not going to be a star, or I mean, he could be a star, but
Yeah.
like he's a really good guy. Just throw in there at the two or the three. Super versatile, super athletic.
Hmm.
I do also agree with the trading out. I think the Wizards would have a ton of interest in trading into three. I think the Nets would obviously have a lot of interest in trading into
Or the
the number
Suns.
three.
Or the
The
Suns.
Suns, I guess, could trade 10 and 29,
Yep, they
and
could.
Ryan Dunn for three or something.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there's a lot of teams that would have really good offers for that third pick.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that I think VG Edgecombe on draft night will be the third pick.
Yeah.
And then going down to four, you got the Hornets. I think they can go a ton of different directions. I think they could take Trey Johnson if VJ Edgecombe falls, take him. Kaman Malawas, Derek Queen, uh,
Yeah.
Con Knipple, even Jeremiah Fears, like
I
Ace
mean,
Bailey. Like,
I'm
there's
looking
so many
back.
people that they can take.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking back at my mock draft, and I had Ace Bailey, but after the recent things I've seen about it, I think I might just drop that. But yeah,
Who would you have in that then?
I honestly might have Con Canupo or Trey Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trey Johnson is probably the worst fit, but he's the better player in my opinion. But
Yeah,
the Hornets are obviously really bad at drafting. We know this with Tajon Salon, James
yeah,
Bouknight, and a couple other picks. So I wouldn't be surprised if they take Konkinibu, who I have 11th on my big board. I understand that he's a really good 3 point shooter, but I don't seeing him, really being a star or really being that game changer that
yeah,
other people have projected.
yeah. And then, I mean, do you have any like sleepers of the draft?
So,
Draft?
so I would say my biggest sleeper is Nick Clifford. I think a lot of people have had him, in the late teens, 20s, even like on my big board, I have him at 9. Like I almost had him up to 7. Like I think this guy is super comparable to a Josh Hart. I think this guy is super comparable to some really really good players. Like you look at the people above him, like sure they have higher ceilings, but why wouldn't you want someone like a Josh Hart? Why wouldn't you want someone like a Cam
Yeah,
Johnson? Like he does everything. He's older, I get that, but I mean he'll score, he'll rebound, he'll assist. He's a great playmaker. He really doesn't have a major flaw that I've seen, other than maybe the 3 point shot. But he looked really good last year from that.
yep.
Who's your biggest guy that I would say?
Hanson Yang.
So why
Um,
is that?
because he's just really good. He's tall. He's from China. He's just an all-around good guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hornets could definitely grab him at either 33 or 34.
For the Suns.
Suns 29. I mean, there's a lot of teams that need that big man at the end of the first round. He's a great developmental piece. I like
Yeah.
his comparison to like a Donovan Clingan. Like he's a great rebounder, and I think
Hmm.
he has a high ceiling in this league for sure.
Yeah. All
And
right.
then I would say some of the other big sleepers that I have that are kind of farther down the board. One first being Kobe Sanders out of Nevada. I think he would be another good Hornet. He could be a Sun as well. Really a guy that can play the one, two, or the three at a really high level. You saw it at Nevada, really good playmaker
Yeah.
and can space that floor. And then even farther down the board, or up the board, I guess a little bit, Kobe Brea, who I have at number 30, which is higher than consensus, who's one of the best 3-point shooters in the class. He could go to the Magic at 25 or be an early second rounder for sure. But I
Yep.
would say he's the best pure shooter in the class.
Should we move on?
Yes, let's move on to our game. So Donnie will be shown the college that the player went to, the team they're drafted to, and then the team they're currently on. Best
All
of
right.
seven here between me and you. Do you like your odds for this?
I think I got a pretty good shot.
We'll start off with number one here. So they went to Oklahoma. They're drafted by the Pelicans, and they currently play on the Warriors.
Okay.
Who is this player?
Okay.
Any
So
ideas here?
I'm trying to think of the Warriors roster. It's not Butler. It's not. I'm trying to think of the Warrior. It's not Looney. I don't think it's Looney. I doubt Looney was drafted by the Pelicans. Uh, I know. Okay, I know it's not Devin Knox.
Okay,
Or,
well, I mean, that would I don't think there were any that names of that were that hard. I'm surprised you even know that it's
no, Devin Knox. You know, like
Kevin Knox. But yeah,
Kevin Knox. Yeah, I remember he wore like the Fortnite like suit on draft night.
yeah,
Um,
that was a big buzz.
I'm gonna take a shoot. I don't even. It's not okay. It's not Draymond. That's stupid. Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
was
need
gonna
a
say like
guess.
I was gonna say Chris Paul, but he left the Warriors.
Is that your final guess?
No. Are they starting?
I'm not gonna give no more hints. Hey, this is fun.
Okay. It's not Moody. It's not Kuminga. Oh, it could be Heald. Was Heald? No, but I feel like he was drafted by the Kings.
Final guess in 5 seconds. We got anything?
I'm gonna say Buddy Heald.
It's correct.
Oh, because I feel like I remember seeing him
No,
drafted by the
honestly, I
Pelicans.
thought he was drafted by like the 76ers or some random team. I just
Yeah.
didn't think that I did never thought of him as a Pelican. He got traded during
Yeah.
his rookie year to I think the Kings.
Oh, yeah. He was.
So
Yeah, because I
yeah,
remember him in the Kings.
so I knew Oklahoma and I knew obviously Warriors, but I didn't really consider him as a Pelican.
All right.
But there you go, one for one. Second one up here.
This is Obi Toppin.
That's there you go.
Okay, that was pretty. That was really
Was
easy.
that do you know that he went to Dayton? Because I
Yeah.
felt like
No, I
that was
did. I did. I did.
okay. Because I didn't know if that was the reason that I thought it was maybe not gettable.
No,
So
this one was easy because I know he went to Dayton because I was watching the finals. Then I saw like a bunch of like stuff on ESPN about him. So this one was pretty easy.
okay, number three here.
Okay, I'm just go off. This has got to be Chris Middleton.
So me incorrect there. First
Okay, I don't
one.
think I would have. I don't think I would have gotten
Um,
that.
yeah, I mean that's definitely a harder one. I understand the Chris Middleton. But Malcolm Brogdon's kind of bounced around a ton of teams. So
Yeah,
I mean Bucks, Pacers, Trailblazers, Wizards. There's definitely a couple more in there.
yeah.
Celtics.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I would have gotten
Two
that.
for three so far. Your
Okay, not
fourth
bad.
one.
Oh shoot! What the? Who? I'm gonna just look at current team.
You're
It's
just
not
gonna guess a
Zion.
random.
Not Dejounte.
Is that the guess?
No, it's not. It's probably not Trey Murphy. It's probably not Herbert Jones. Is it? Maybe is it Misi? Could be Misi. Misi's giving me big like Florida Ducks vibes. I like.
This is not the Ducks, but yeah.
They weren't traded, right? This like they were just very recently.
Well, this is, I mean, the current team is today. So,
Okay, so it's not CJ McCollum.
I mean, it could be.
Don't
I'm
think
saying,
it's
or
CJ.
no, it can't be. I'm saying it could be like Jordan Poole could be a
No,
current
it's
team.
not. Jordan Poole
Yeah,
went to
I know.
Michigan.
But I'm saying like that could be.
I'm gonna just take a shot, Dark. I'm gonna say Misi.
So that's gonna be Bruce Brown. Didn't
Okay.
really get cross your mind, I'm guessing.
Nope.
Also, just thought of him as a drafted by the Nuggets.
All right.
I feel like that was a, but 2 for 4. This should come down to
It's
the
not bad.
wire.
Not bad.
Next one up.
Oh, this is Kyrie. This
Okay.
is that's easy.
Okay. I was hoping you were behind a bit, so this
No,
one was
no.
kind of a get back. But now we're 3 for 5.
That's easy.
One more and you got it.
Okay. This is No, Butler wasn't drafted. Never mind.
What current Heat?
No, because I saw Timberwolves and Heat, and I just thought
Uh,
of Jimmy Butler
yeah.
because they're drafted by the. I don't know why I just went to Ricky Rubio, and then I went to Zach LaVine next.
Random Timberwolves.
I'm trying to think of. Oh, shoot, who's? It can't be like. No, it's not. Who could have? Okay, let's. Oh, I know. Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins.
Ah.
Yeah,
And there's the fourth one. We'll do the last one.
yeah. Is this Dylan Brooks?
That's correct. So
Okay,
finishes with 5 for 7.
that was pretty good.
That's not bad. Not a bad showing for the man.
That's not bad.
Finishing 5 for 7, and finishing off this episode. A little bit of a comeback episode for the End Zone boys, but
Yep.
we'll try to be back
Hmm.
weekly episodes as much as possible, maybe more.
If there's a lot of
On
good stuff happening.
For sure on Instagram, I'm gonna be dropping our draft grades post draft, and we'll probably go through that on our next episode.
Hmm.
Likely with a guest. Who knows?
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see. NBA draft. Who knows? TJ Watt, future commander. Who knows?
No.
Terry McLaurin's gonna get re-signed tomorrow. At 11:30 a.m. As we all know.
Hmm.
Anything else, Donnie, that's going on between this episode and next? You want to just call real quick?
I'm gonna say Jane Daniels, rookie minicamp. Something might happen to his
Rookie
Achilles.
minicamp was like a month ago.
Sorry,
Yeah.
just regular training minicamp. Something might happen to his ACL.
Oh, okay. A little bit of a foreshadowing there by Donnie. But
I'm not saying it's gonna get hurt. Just like maybe
just
maybe he
something
just
happens.
maybe
Yeah.
he's like stretches his Achilles in like a stretching warm up. I don't know.
Sure.
Something's gonna happen to his Achilles
Thanks
though.
for watching this episode number 11. Remember to follow us over on TikTok at Endzone Boys. That'll be linked in our Instagram and YouTube bio and description of this video down
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Hit that subscribe button, like the video, share it. Follow us on Instagram at Endzone Boys, TikTok, as I said. Wherever you are listening to us.
All right.
So for us, thank you, and we will see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.